with Safari as your browser and you wish to access Remote Lab, the first thing you need to do is click on the link from the instructions, remotelab.dickinson.edu. When you do that, you will come to a page that looks like this. You may have an intermediate page before you get here that requires you to log in again. That seems to be variable sometimes. But the most important thing on this page is on the right-hand side here, where you have to download Remote Desktop Client. If you click on this link, it will take you to a preview of the App Store with a link then to the App Store. You will need to download Remote Desktop Client and install it before you can continue. Once you've done that, we have a variety of options here. The one we want is General Pool. Click on General Pool, brings you up to a page for a new reservation. Notice that Spartan Student is one of the options here, which is what we are interested in. And we click Make My Reservation and connect to Remote Lab. And notice in the upper right-hand corner, a new little icon has appeared, a download. If we click on that, it shows the downloads, Remote Lab Reservation.rdp. Double click on that. And after several seconds, I was getting nervous there. After several seconds, we will start to connect. You will then need to log in again with your Dickinson credentials. It tells you that we cannot verify a certificate. That's okay. We will continue. And we are now connected to Remote Lab. Notice that one thing we see here is that the window is bigger than our screen size. So if we take the cursor up to the top, click on the window menu, then fit to window, and now suddenly everything is the correct size. This new box shows up, the Remote Lab Helper. Mostly this is a bit of a pain because it seems to get in the way, but luckily we can drag it around so when we are using Spartan later we can get it out of the way. When you are finished with this, make sure you click the log out button so the Remote Lab computer will be open for other people. Do not click the close window because that will also log you out. And if you don't want to, that is a bad thing. Our next issue is to get Spartan. So come down to the Start menu and click that. Scroll down to the S's where we hit Spartan Student 8.0.4. Click on that. We want the first option, which is the graphical user interface. We click on that and Spartan Student will open up here. And notice the Remote Lab Helper is still there. As I said, we can move it around. Now, one thing that happens sometimes is that these icons across the top do not show up. And apparently when that happens, there is nothing you can do about it to make them show up. But that is okay because we can use the pull down menus up at the top to access anything that we wanted to use the icons for anyway. So it all works out okay. Another useful thing is again to take the cursor up to the top, click on Exit Full Screen. That reduces the size of the Spartan window and allows you access to the other windows that you have on the computer. So for instance, if you're following instructions, you'll be able to work your way back and forth. You can, if you wish, use Spartan in this reduced size. You can make that window larger if you want, but it is a little bit more difficult to see when the size is reduced like that. So that's the basics of how you make it into Spartan on Remote Lab. If you have Safari as your browser, all we need to be able to do now is to figure out how to use Spartan itself, and that is a subject for a different set of instructions.